Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. It has been a while that I haven't done any videos, so I'm back again because I feel like doing a video. Just bringing my cards here closer to me. So hope you all have been doing good and life is treating you well. Again, if that's not the case, don't worry, we are all in the same boat. So to start off, I'm just gonna burn some cinnamon stick here. I prefer to burn cinnamon because the smell of it and the smoke is much softer than, let's say, sage or Palo Santo, especially right now because I'm in the room with closed windows. I don't want to create too much of a smoke, overwhelming smoke, so I would choke on it here while I'm talking to you. May I speak the truth in peace and harmony. May I express myself in the best way possible. May I fully and authentically express myself. Actually, even if it's not gonna come across as super peaceful, because let's be honest, people, we are human beings and it's not possible to be peaceful 24/7, and sometimes our emotions go up and down and we get affected by our internal world and external. Namaste. It smells really good. It smells very calming, very soothing and very calming. Just to demonstrate some self-care and prepare myself for this talk. The talk might be a little bit triggering because I'm gonna be speaking about narcissism. You know, it's a buzzword these days, but I've started researching about narcissism about 12 to 13 years ago. I was going through a very strange relationship, and it somehow made sense to me why this person was acting this way, and sometimes it didn't make any sense. The aggression, the silent treatment, the aggression, the withholding. Withholding is huge with narcissism. Narcissists withhold, in my opinion, to punish you, to also preventing to be seen by the other. So it's just a way of shielding, and it's very much shame-based. I bought this oil recently for my face and it's very very soothing. I put some on my third eye and smooth it on my forehead. Let me know if you want to know what this oil is made out of and where I got it and what's its name. Leave a comment and I shall let you know. Alright. Taking a deep breath through the nose, holding the breath, and exhalation. This way we are activating the parasympathetic nervous system to bring us to a state of calm. This blanket belonged to my father, so I always want to keep it close to myself and sometimes wrap it around me to remember him. I love my father very much, very much. So the topic of today is about narcissism. This topic is very triggering to me because I truly believed I was raised among many narcissists. Majority of people from my mother's side of the family, they're demonstrating strong narcissistic traits, and I believe some of them they have a full-blown NDP. So 13 years ago when I dated this person, I started researching why somebody would act this way, because I was really puzzled, and at the same time some behavior was familiar and I wasn't sure why these things they just keep on happening to me and why they're so common, or they are similar among different people that I have met from different genders, different races, different nationality. They all exhibit the same type of behavior. What is this? So then I was introduced to the video of a man who claims to be a narcissistic psychopath, and his name is Sam Vaknin. He's a professor of psychology and some other things that I've forgotten. But when he started talking about narcissism, sadism, things started like falling into pieces, and I started like understanding what this personality disorder is all about. I don't know to what degree have you guys researched it, but I'm gonna let you know what is my take on it, what is my understanding of it after all the researches that I've done, after my own experience since childhood with this type of people and personality, and what I understand about it. And a lot of people say that narcissists cannot heal. It's impossible for narcissists to heal. But I honestly believe that it is possible to heal narcissism. It's going to be very challenging, very challenging. And the person, the narcissistic person, must truly want to change. Not because of somebody else, not because somebody is going to leave them, not because somebody has threatened them, but because they get sick and tired of this behavior. Now, one of the challenges is most narcissists, they don't have self-awareness, or they have very little self-awareness, or they have intermittent self-awareness. So sometimes self-awareness comes in and you see some very glimpse moment of self-awareness in narcissists. Like actually they say they say the truth about themselves, and how they handle situation and how they do things, and when in that moment of vulnerability, you can see how much guilt driven and shame based um, is also this self-awareness can become. So in another word, the self-awareness happens, they see what they have done is wrong, they question themselves of why they could do this, and then they start saying like, how could I do this? And at that moment I really feel an extreme sense of depression and shame starts overtaking them, that they start like divert and detach and derail from the subject and from themselves and from their own vulnerability, because it becomes super painful. And I can see in that moment a strong level of self-hatred. And narcissism, contrary to what a lot of people say, it's not self-confidence. Like people that exhibit narcissistic characters, they're not confident. On the contrary, um, they are filled with self-hatred and shame. That's why they try to push away that authentic self and masking themselves and shielding themselves with a false character that supposedly is very witty and it's very self-confident on the surface and is a smart ass and has an answer for everything and is a know-it-all. Um, and it's not vulnerable. And we also do have some narcissists that they exhibit a lot of vulnerability and they're called vulnerable or covert narcissist. But here, my focus is more on talking about overt narcissists, that they're overtly exhibiting narcissistic characteristics. Ooh, this is a pretty heavy topic for me, because I've been hurt and bitten by this personality disorder. And there was a time in my life that I started calling this people with this type of personality disorders demonic, because they can be really cruel and nasty and brutal and exhibit complete lack of understanding and compassion and empathy. However, after witnessing people with narcissistic traits or personality disorder, and after researching further, it became very clear to me that narcissism is a byproduct of severe childhood abuse and neglect and shame. So the narcissists in their childhood felt weak, unloved, unheard, unseen, neglected, and shame. And this hurt them so badly that as a survival mechanism, they had to create a false self. That it's so powerful, sort of like a Superman syndrome. See how shy the Superman is, and then suddenly he goes to this like phone booth and he comes out as all puffed up and muscular and, you know, rescuing other people and is all powerful. And only kryptonite can make him contract and destroy him. And in my opinion, kryptonite, if you say Superman is narcissistic, then kryptonite is the truth, is self-awareness that can literally kill Superman and reveal the truth of that innocent, hurt little child. And if the narcissist don't do it with a skilled therapist, this self-awareness can greatly lead into a very severe form of depression and can be detrimental. And somebody was saying that they have seen a narcissist committing suicide. They say suicide is not common among narcissists, but if a narcissist becomes self-aware, then they are no longer narcissistic. And when they understand and when they are reminded of the pain that they went through and the agony and the self-hatred that they have to deal with now that the false self has been disintegrated, it might lead to a suicide. Now, I'm not 100% sure about this, but somebody said that they have witnessed an enlightenment in a narcissist that led to suicide because it was way too painful. So narcissism is a defense. So how do you know if somebody is narcissist? What are the characteristics that they exhibit in relationship, any kinds of relationship? They can be your parent, your lover, your brothers or sisters. They can be your boss, co-worker, friend. They can be from any gender or any race. It doesn't matter. Of course, some nationalities, because of the cultural thing, they might exhibit narcissistic characteristics more than other nations, and sometimes some genders, especially male, they might be more prone to narcissistic personality disorder, but this is not proven, and this is just a theory. So what do they do? One of the things that narcissists do in a relationship, you see that they lack empathy. That's the most prevalent character that a narcissist has. They lack empathy. They lack the ability to fully hear you and listen to you. As a matter of fact, if you pay attention, majority of narcissists, they might start, their attention might start drifting away to other things or other subjects as you're speaking. They might walk away in the middle of you talking, or they change the conversation and bring it back to themselves. And they might start talking about something that is completely different, or they might outright tell you to stop and shut up, which it has put me into a shock. Like, I was in the middle of talking and he would just go like, okay, that's enough. And I was, my tone was neutral at the time that I was talking. I was talking about maybe something that was painful to me. And this person just abruptly would just tell me to stop and to shut up. Or, you're in the middle of talking and that person goes like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep, bye. That abruptly, that brutally, and that carelessly. The behavior is very inhumane and it exhibits extreme lack of care and empathy and humanity, I shall say. What other things did they do? Narcissists, they love to be in the center of attention. They have to be in the center of attention So if you are talking about somebody else, like for an example, if you're even talking about a deceased loved one, a loved one that has passed away, and how greatly you love them and how much you miss them, in this conversation, narcissist is not in the center of attention. So it triggers them. So instead of showing you empathy for your hurt and missing your loved one, and showing empathy for your grief, it actually provokes anger in a narcissist, and narcissist is going to attack you. Not all narcissists, but I've seen it happening. I've seen it happening to myself. A narcissist attacks you because in this conversation, he's not in the center of attention. And they usually have the relationship to be the center of attention because they don't understand love, they don't understand empathy. So the only thing that they want from you is service to them. So if you're talking about yourself, if you're talking about your emotions, about your deceased loved one, the conversation is no longer revolving around them, right? So it's very anger provoking to narcissists when they're not the center of the attention. So a lot of narcissists are coming from neglected childhood. So they want to compensate for it by being in the center of attention. I put on lipstick to just look good on camera, but I want to drink some water. Even though this lipstick is non-toxic, it's made out of natural products, but I don't want to drink it or eat it because it's not food or water. So narcissist wants to be in the center of attention, and for that matter, they're not going to show that much empathy towards you if you're talking about your own feelings and emotions. And they cannot show empathy unless if it's fake. They can fake it for maybe 1 or 2 days maximum, and then they go back to the same thing. What else a narcissist does? Narcissist also likes to insinuate in you that you don't matter, because that's exactly how they were treated, a lot of them, in their childhood. So by insinuating to you that you don't matter, you don't mean anything, you don't mean anything to me, you're unlovable. Some of them are too smart to actually say it directly to you, so they keep on insinuating that through indirect comments. And they use a lot of triangulation, like they triangulate other people into the equation, into the relationship between you and him or her, to just use other people as allies. Now, some of these allies might be aware of that they're being used in this equation, like they might actually be present nearby. Some of the allies might have passed on, they're no longer in the equation, and they're still being used as a form of triangulations. Or there are people in the street or on the net that they don't even necessarily know you. They're not even aware of the fact that they're being triangulated. And some people, if you're at work, sometimes, the boss or the supervisor or the other coworker, they might triangulate other people against you by slandering your name. So I give you some of the other examples of triangulations. Like for instance, you have gone on a date with your narcissist, and you're all done up, your hair is done up, your nail is perfectly done up, you're wearing a really elegant outfit, and the narcissist has paid for your ticket to go see him, and has taken you to a really nice restaurant, and you're in front of him looking good, and narcissist starts like looking around the room, checking other people out, and not paying any attention to you. And the narcissist starts like showing other women, if you are a woman, starts showing same gender people, oh, look at that woman. I really like the way that woman is dressing. Oh, look at that person's behind. Oh, look at this one. And starts like making comments. And if you, in this case was me, just pay no attention to this behavior and not get triggered and not say anything, the narcissist said to me, even without me saying anything, because he thought I'm not getting what's happening. And then he goes like, well, what do you think? Did you think I only have eyes for you? And because I was in a foreign country, because I didn't know my surrounding quite well, I stayed at the table. If I was in my own environment, my own country, and I knew how to get back home, I would not sit on that table for 2 seconds, because that was absolutely rude and obnoxious. So he said, yeah, he said, like, what do you think? Did you think that I only have eyes for you? What is he trying to do? He was trying to tell me that you're not attractive. There's so many other people that are way more attractive than you. Don't think you're something. Don't think you're somebody. So what is he doing? He's working on the self-esteem. He's working on the self-worth, because that way he thinks he can lift himself up by diminishing you, destroying you to the ground, because he's very immature and he is truly lacking major self-esteem, and that is perhaps how they treated him in the past. So he wants to also use you as a punching bag. So that way, by you suffering, he get relief. It's like, oh, somebody else is feeling my pain, what I have to go through. So these are the motives behind this type of behavior: destroying your self-esteem, destroying your self-worth, so then he can control you and he can manipulate you. And it's also offloading the internal self-hatred onto somebody else, because it's impossible for narcissists to digest and process their own feelings, so they need to project that onto somebody else. And by how upset somebody else they get, they feel relief. So in another word, they let somebody else digest their own internal world. So they project constantly, they project their inner landscape onto other people. All right, so what are the other things that the narcissist does? So one of the things is lack of inability to listen. And in this inability to listen, so if, for instance, if you bring up something that he has done that has hurt you, he will not listen to you. He will always either ridicule you and start joking about the things to just kind of like defer from the actual topic, or they start blame shifting. So they shift the blame back onto you. Like for instance, I once went and started, like, I checked his phone to see if he was talking to other women. Because one of the things that also narcissists, the characteristic that narcissists have, they cannot be alone. They cannot be alone. They have to have. Now, this aloneness doesn't mean necessarily someone has to be sitting beside them. They can retrieve people on internet. Some narcissists, they have a pet, or they're constantly need to attend meetings, groups. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with attending groups or meetings, but um, a normal person has the capability of sitting with themselves and feeling their own feelings. But the narcissist has to go out there, either workaholics, that they constantly need to avoid themselves, talk to other people, be in the center of the attention. Some narcissists even get highly involved in charity work, and it doesn't come from a good space. They just want to portray this image of helping other people, and then it also keeps them busy. It keeps them out of themselves, so they cannot be alone with themselves. So anyways, I picked up this phone, and that was before the cell phones, they had passwords. And here we go. I saw multiples of women on his Facebook that he was flirting with, and some of these, they were in a different language and I couldn't understand, but surely he was talking to a lot of people. And and when I confronted him, he, instead of saying I am sorry, or just somehow try to um, mend this lack of trust that he has created in me, because he has also in the past cheated on me, which again, blame me for it. um, he turned around and he goes like, checking somebody's Facebook, checking somebody's phone is a wrong thing to do, and here in this country we can call the police on you. That's it. You know, he never said like, oh my God, what have I done to you that broke this trust that you had to do this to find out what is going on? What have I done? How many times have I cheated or openly flirted with people that you felt the need to do this? No, instead it was my fault. I'm not saying that checking somebody's phone is a great thing to do, but sometimes you're left with no other choice to protect yourself to do something like that. You need to do some detective work to find out to what level this person is scamming you, especially if your intuition keeps on yelling at you. Or if you start talking about serious issues with your relationship that it bothers you, it's not going to land on listening or hearing ears. There will be a deflect. There would be, I call them responsibility Teflon. They turn the whole thing around and they make it your fault. It's that if you get upset, then you become violent. They keep on pushing your buttons. They keep on doing the things that bother you over and over and over till you snap. And then they call you the abusive person, which they create this reactive abuse to then go ahead and shame you. And they usually, doesn't matter how many therapists you're seeing, it doesn't matter. Narcissists will still suggest you to go get help and see a therapy, not because they care, to insinuate to you that there is something wrong with you and you're mentally ill and you are incapable of making decision for yourself as an adult. So he has to tell you it's your fault, you're crazy, all these things that you're saying about me are not true. the fault is falling on you, and you're the person who needs to go see a therapist. So again, this is not done out of care. Their suggestion for you to see a therapy as a mature person is not coming out of care, but it's a condescending comment to again insinuate you don't know better. I have to direct you as what to do, and something is wrong in you. Not that there's anything wrong with people who are seeking therapy, but he tries to insinuate that you are cuckoo. And then on the other hand, he will never seek therapy himself. Never. He maybe one time in the past he seek therapy, and he was telling me, oh, I seek that because my ex-girlfriend was threatening to leave me. In another word, that she was worthy that I seek therapy. And that therapy, apparently it healed him to the core. So one therapy was very intense, and he was done and healed and all good. And he did it for that girlfriend, but he would never do it for me. So all these are messages that he is giving me to just keep on diminishing the self-esteem and destroying the self-esteem. And I'm sure anybody in his past experienced very similar situation, if not worse. So in situations such as reactive abuse, so reactive abuse is that somebody keeps on abusing, gaslighting, putting you down, cheating on you, continuously triggering you, finding your triggers and constantly pushing on it till you snap, and then pointing the finger and shaming you for snapping. So when you snap and the reactive abuse happens, then he starts like shaming you and acting as if you're just this crazy person that suddenly explode and start swearing and yelling out of blue. He keeps on insinuating that. So he doesn't say what I have been doing over and over and over and over, and keep on pushing and pouring salt on your wounds purposely to make you explode. None of that. He comes back and points the finger at you, forever reacting as if you are just, dead. Even a dead body would react to such treatment. So it's really, it becomes like you get to a point, and it's all about power struggle. It's all about putting you down, making you doubt your own reality, your own intelligence, your own intuition, and feeling less than. So this person can control you, maneuver you however they want, and treat you like crap. And then you diminish, you shrink, and you get fully destroyed in the process. This is the goal of the narcissist, because then they can feel like, okay, I inflict pain, I destroy, therefore I am. And in meanwhile, they get a lot of services when they diminish your self-worth. They can use you in any possible way. They can gaslight you. They can push you into doing so many things so you become worthy in their eyes. And that never happens, by the way. So these are the things that they do. Gaslighting. Just telling you that either it never happened, or you're cuckoo for thinking that, or you're delusional. Triangulation involving retrieving, recruiting other people, even ghosts, into the equation to use them as an ally against you. And some of these allies can be even imaginary, and it can completely be a lie. They can recruit people on internet. They Narcissists also love to evoke jealousy. Evoking jealousy is one of their best, most preferred way of putting you down and triggering you. I've seen my narc really just smiling out of satisfaction when he told me that he actually cheated on me with his ex, and when he saw the pain and the agony in my face, he couldn't help the smirk, the happy smile in his face. So they are unfortunately very sick. And as I said, they are the byproduct of severe neglect and abuse in their childhood. And this has become their way to cope with their inner demon or internal pain and darkness by having somebody in their vicinity. A lot of narcissists cannot live with another person in the same house. If they do, the connection is very severed, that they would live in different part of the house and barely talk to each other, or they might have like online connection, because they cannot have intimacy. Anything that is about closeness, intimacy, intimacy, it's very uncomfortable for the narcissist. They do not want to be seen, because through that scene somebody might get connected and see that hurt, vulnerable, small little child who has been destroyed and demolished, bullied and neglected. And unfortunately, by the way that the narcissists behave in the adulthood, through projection and mirroring, sometimes they can project the abuser that they had in their past, like let's say if the abuser was their mother or father, onto the person that they're dealing with, to create the same dynamic. And through attacking you, the abuser now, they sort of take revenge on that original abuser. So the dynamic is very, very tricky. And in psychodynamic therapy, if you have ever attended, you can see that how this projection and mirroring can happen. That the person, through these interactions, they can project to you the image or the character of the person that abused them without you even knowing that this person is actually doing that. And then suddenly you see that you start like behaving out of character. You start actually behaving like an abusive person because this person is demanding it out of you. It's very tricky. It's very tricky. So yeah, relationship with somebody who is narcissistic is extremely painful, because you're not going to be seen, you're not going to be heard, you're not going to be valued in that relationship. And that is very painful, and it's exceptionally painful for people who are empaths. Empaths are also byproducts of narcissism. Like in another word, the original upbringing of empaths or narcissists are the same. They were neglected, they were harshly abused, and they most likely were raised by narcissistic caregivers or parents. I don't know how can one person becomes an empath and how one person becomes a narcissist. But usually the byproduct of narcissistic families are either a narcissist, somebody with um, um, BPD, borderline personality disorder, or an empath. Um, so let's just come into a closure. It's a very heavy topic, and it's very close to me because I have been badly hurt, because I've loved these narcissistic people. And then I came to realize that my intention of a relationship is 180 degrees different than their intention of the relationship. And that's really hurtful to realize that their intention is of gaining power. And as I'm saying it really it makes me very upset. It's gaining power, gaining dominance. Now that I'm saying that, another scenario came into my mind. One time we went for a walk with this person. It was around the field, so it was round. And then as we were walking, suddenly he started speeding up and bypassing me real fast. And I was it's like, what? We were just walking together. What happened? And nothing happened. There was no fight, nothing. And I was like, um, what does he expect me to do? Am I supposed to just run after him? And I was like, no, this is really strange behavior. I'm gonna continue walking with the same pace as I'm walking. So he walked real fast, and I watched him like completely disappeared. And then he turned around and came back towards me. So at this point I was like, oh, okay, well, he's gonna come back to me, and we'll start walking again together. And then he walked by me without even making eye contact, past me, and went back home. I was like, what did just happen? And then later, when I thought about the situation, I remembered that a couple of times he told me about his mother when he was a child, that his mother would take him outside to shop or whatever, and she would forget about him. He was a child. She would forget about him and come home. So then people in the street or either would find him and take him back home, or he would come back home on his own. So I was like, oh, wait a second. He is doing exactly the same thing as his mother did to him as a child. He's still not healed even a bit, even though he wants to pretend that he is all healed, and he wants to heal other people and coach other people and all that. But unfortunately, he is extremely immature, and he hasn't healed even a bit, and he's still very much struggling with his childhood issues. So in another word, he did exactly the same as his mother did to him when he was a child. It's just bizarre. Narcissists, the other things that narcissists do is that whatever other people tell them and whatever issue they have with other people in their relationship with you, they project it onto you. And they try to take revenge of those people through you. Like for instance, in 2 occasions, other people told this person that, oh my God, little boy didn't get his way, because he was demanding something from them and got upset when he didn't get it. So when I was asking him something, and I got upset because he was continuously telling me no about everything. Doesn't matter what is it that I ask him, his answer is always no. So I was like, no, not this time. This time I'm not going to accept a no. I'm sick and tired of this. Relationships are all about cooperations and understanding, and everything doesn't matter what it is that I ask you. The answer is no. And guess what he said to me? Oh, you little girl are not getting your way. Are you getting upset? So exactly he said what other people kept on telling him. So he wanted me to feel his pain, and he wanted to take revenge on those people also through me. So another, again, a punching bag. So you have to serve as a punching bag for a narcissist, because he's continuously puking his difficult experiences with other people onto you, with his childhood onto you, and he starts like beating you up, and through projection he tries to make you the bad person. When I say he and she, because in this case it was a he, but the narcissist can also be a she, so it's not gender related. You know, my own mother is highly narcissistic, and a lot of people in my family, they're female narcissists. So yeah, narcissists, they say a lot of no's. They are always very disagreeable. They don't agree to anything that you say. They want to put down all your ideas and everything that you ask them. And God forbid, you should never question them. Never ever question a narcissist, because simply how dare you question a narcissist? He is not going to answer you. You know, Trudeau is a perfect example of that. Doesn't matter what is it that they ask him in the parliament. Listen, he never answers the question. He goes beat around the bushes. He says all sorts of stuff, but answering the question. So these are the characteristics of the narcissist. Can the narcissist heal? Yes, but it's going to be very, very challenging and difficult, because through this healing, the narcissist can heal only if he becomes self-aware. And if he becomes self-aware, he has to process a lot of anxiety and depression and feeling of worthlessness and self-hatred that they come up. And if that is done without helping another person or a really skilled therapist, I'm afraid it might lead to some sort of a self-harm. The other thing that narcissists do, majority of narcissists, if as much as they deny it, they have addictions. Not all people who are dealing with addictions are narcissistic, but most narcissists, they have some sort of an addiction to drugs, to alcohol, to pornography, to sex, to even work, or even working out. Now, you know, sex on its own is not a bad thing. Pornography on its own is a bad thing. I don't agree with pornography. I think it's a very sick way of portraying sex, and it's not. It's just pathological, and it's very degrading to human beings to have that kind of sex. Sex is about bonding and connection, and not objectifications of body parts and human beings. But sex on its own is not bad, as long as it's between two loving, consenting people. Working is not bad. Working out is not bad. You know, maybe drinking once in a blue moon with food is not a bad thing. But when narcissists, they develop severe dependency towards external substances to soothe their inner demons and turmoil. So again, yes, they can get healed, but it's a very tricky process. They have to want it, and it requires self-awareness, meaning that through the self-awareness, the personality trait that they have built shatters. it shatters, and literally a new personality gets formed. So it is an internal revolution that not many people are capable of doing it, and not many therapists are capable and equipped to help someone with narcissism to recover. Can you help the narcissist through a relationship? No, unless if you're willing to sacrifice yourself, and even then it might not be possible. So they have to want it, and they have to want it themselves. It has to be their choice, and you cannot demand it out of them. Never. Through therapy, through coercion, none of that. It won't work. So now that we have talked about narcissism, please let me know what you think. Let me know your comments. Let me know your experience with narcissists. And be as kind as possible in your comments, please. I would love to hear your story. Let's just pull a card and see what's gonna come for us, the sufferer of narcissistic abuse. How we're gonna heal ourselves. In another video, I'm gonna talk about the victims of narcissistic abuse and how we can heal, how we can help each other heal, how can we support each other through this turmoil. All right, let's see. These cards are huge. They're huge. Okay. Birds and freedom. This is interesting because the other day, as I was walking to take the sky train, I actually saw an eagle that wanted to be seen by me, because it started flying really low that I could see it. And eagles mean a lot to me. They're the messengers for me of power, of freedom, of perseverance, and hope. So the name of this card is Birds and Freedom. And look at this. What is this called? Fibonacci. That, to me, this means growth and healing. And it's spiral. It's going like this up. So when you are in your process of healing, don't be discouraged if you arrive at the same point. Because literally you're not at the same point. You were lower in here and now you're higher. But you might be feeling the same feelings, and you might feel the same darkness. But you're literally going up and up and up. Fibonacci is a really sacred geometry that it can be seen in many creatures and in nature, the Fibonacci patterns. So in this card, I'm seeing hawks, I'm seeing a dove, I'm seeing an eagle, I'm seeing an owl. Dove is certainly, and to me, this is the sun, or the light at the end of the darkness, the tunnel, and rays of the sun shining through each directions, and the birds that are flying. Dove is a symbol of peace also. Eagle, symbol of freedom and power and height. Hawk. Owl, symbol of wisdom. Let's see what it says in the booklet about this card. Your soul is longing to soar like a bird high in the sky. It sings as a caged bird a song of freedom. So in another word, maybe we are still caged and we are longing for that freedom. And this is a card to give you the message that freedom is coming. And the key to that cage is in your own hand. You're being urged to sharpen your senses and be watchful. Spirit has been sending you messages in the form of falling feathers and, oh, I don't know this word, ornithomancy, diving through the observation of birds, their flights, patterns, cries, and behaviors. This card has flown in now and taps on your window pane. So flight the doors wide open. So sorry, completely can't see very well in the slide. So fling the doors wide open and let fresh air circulate. You have been cooped up for quite long enough. It is time to spread your wings and go searching for adventures. Opportunity awaits as a new horizon beacons. See the world from a bird's eyes view and break free from entrapment. Escape from the chains that prevent you from speaking your truth. It is time for you to be heard. Aha! Isn't that interesting that we're talking about that you're not being heard by the narcissist and you're not being valued by the narcissist? You don't matter to somebody who is narcissistic because that person is super self-involved that they cannot hear you. But in this card, it says it is time for you to be heard, to have the freedom to make your own choices and be responsible for making decisions, never minding whether they're right or wrong. Right now, it is having the freedom to make a choice that will set you well and truly free. Birds revealed. The winged ones have been showing us signs from nature, omens, and messages from the gods long before history was written. In Egypt, seeing a flock of birds after someone's death was a good sign. It was believed the birds were escorting the person to their new incarnation. From supernatural to magical powers, the medicine of birds teaches us how to fly free with strength and valor. This almost makes me want to cry. This is, it also reminds me that in my brother's burial, I saw a hawk and an eagle flying. May his soul be at peace. May his soul be at rest. May his soul soar high. I love you. Other divinatory meanings. A new gateway is opening. Have courage and walk through it. You are soaring high right now. Don't let others bring you down. What were we talking about? Narcissists trying to bring us down through jealousy, through invoking jealousy, through triangulations, through shutting our voice. So in this card is encouraging to say what you need to say, to find your voice, to have that freedom to express yourself, to hear your own heart, to know that you matter. And a new gateway is opening. Have courage and walk through it. You're soaring high right now. Don't let others bring you down. Don't let a narcissistic person to crush you, to bring you down, to elevate himself. Sharpen your senses to the messages around you. Like, for instance, me seeing that eagle the other day, it was definitely a message. These are the message from the other realm. Some people, they say they are angels, but to me, they are messages from an unseen world. Unseen is just we cannot see them with our, biological or physiological eyes. Take steps to leave a difficult situation. So you're being encouraged to leave a difficult situation. Make a decision. Freedom awaits. Leaving is not easy. A lot of times we love these people, these narcissistic people, and I have longed for this relationship to work very much. But it doesn't matter what I do, it's just impossible, because how can you stand when somebody, it keeps on just like punching at you? You eventually gonna fall on your faces, unless if you keep on fighting and defending yourself. And if you're gonna fight, how long can you fight and defend yourself? Till one of you gonna die. It's not possible to sustain such a relationship, and it's very hurtful. It's very hurtful because love is still there. Love is still there. I do love this person, and I do love my mother. But I have to be aware, because these people they have no mercy when they're triggered, because they're not mature. They are a child inside, and at the moment they can say anything, they can do anything, and they can hurt you to your core, especially when you have feelings for them. They can really hurt you. So unfortunately, you need to protect yourself from them however you can. Birds speak, in each direction watch us fly. So this is showing different directions of life. There's so many different ways that you can fly. We send a message from the sky, receive our feathers, hear our sound, fly through life, now freedom's found. Beautiful. People, I'm sending you love. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment to help these messages, this sharing from the heart, to spread. Namaste, and sending you peace and love. Take care of yourself and others as much as you can. Bye for now.